Ring ring, ring ring. Hello? Who's this? Oh, it's just a lack of sound due to millennials being too attached to their smartphones. You feel naked, and I don't mean physically, I mean mentally, with this rectangular shaped technology in your hands. It's funny how the feeling of being naked can be described as someone who forgot their phone, forgot to charge it, or is without it. Throughout the years, our attachment to our attachment and addiction to this cellular device has accelerated. And as more years go by, the more dependent we as humans get to our phones, especially as students who feel obligated to be on their phone for social reasons, to avoid awkwardness, or even for boredom. In Martha Irvine's article, a 2013 report states Pew Internet and American Life Project did a study and claimed that 78% of young adults use their phone in school accessing the internet, and it's only increasing from there. According to the survey we had you guys take in class, 10 out of 13 people would touch their phones during class when they get bored or when they zone out when the teacher is talking. Whether it's intentionally using your phone for leisure, such as playing games or scrolling through Facebook, or unintentionally touching your device every 10 minutes just to check the time. The survey states that this class spends about 132 minutes on average on their phone at school. The amount of stress and dependency many of you guys have towards your phone was high as well, according to the poll. These statistics and problems tie considerably to each other, and as students who filled out the survey, you could be improving the amount of stress and dependency you have on your phone. We're on the same boat as students who have attachment to their phones. But as a group, we have researched about this topic and learned how high cell phone usage, especially as a student, degrades you physically and mentally. So you should take our advice on what to do about your device. The heavy addiction to your cell phone as a student takes a toll on your life. We're not gonna lie to you. Our phones are mandatory in order to connect with those around us. But rather than telling you to stop using your phone completely, we just want you to use your phone less, and especially during school. Primarily, we'll first address the issues that your phone may be giving you. The secondary point to our agenda are small things you could do to improve these issues. Then we'll walk you down descriptive details and examples on what your phone could provide you or deprive you of if you don't take these steps. Lastly, you'll learn about the ways you can take actions and start using your phone less. Now, if you may, please direct your attention this way.
Nice. So as we know, cell phone could have a negative impact on students by distracting them in school and negatively affecting their health, and also could hurt their relationship with others. According to our in-class survey, almost 80% of students unintentionally touch their phone during class. This shows us that how phone could be a distraction in school. Of course, there's no doubt that phones have remarkable capabilities which, in theory, could promote student learning. But the truth is that kids, in spite of their best effort of parents and teachers, uses their phone primarily to access to digital amusement. And according to London School of Economics study, found that schools which banned the use of phones experience improvement in students' test score. Phone can have negative impact on productivity through distraction. Students who did not use their phone wrote down 62% of more notes in their notes, and they took more detailed notes. And students are too dependent on their phones. For example, people now use shortcuts while texting, like over there. And with autocorrect technique, correcting your mistake for you can cause spelling problems, grammar problems, also leads to miscommunication between friends and families. Phone can affect your health due to people spend more time on phones than sleeping. Phone make it easier than ever to be connected, but 24/7 connection to technology is actually unhealthy when you're trying to fall asleep. Phone emit something called blue light, which is type of light that the brain interprets as daylight, which your brain is going to get confused and think that the sun is out, making you harder to sleep while you try to sleep at night. Also, phone can lead to stress like low battery anxiety. When your battery drops to, let's say, 20% or less, you get stressed out. And phenomenal vibration syndrome, even though your phone's not vibrating, but you feel the sense of that your phone is vibrating in your pocket, that you tend to try to reach it every time. Also, there's nomophobia, which that you get fear, you get afraid, you get stressed out when you don't have your phone with you. You want to go find your phone. Also, there's FOMO, fear of missing out. You feel like if you don't have your phone with you, you feel like you're missing out some, let's say, a big party, school project. Which, according to LG survey, that nearly 9 out of 10 people feel panic when their phone battery drops to 20% or that lower because of the threat of getting disconnected from outside the world. And due to the appearance of phones, there is way less social interaction now compared to before. One could argue that a cell phone actually helped connect others, but nothing can compare the real interaction one has face to face. It also has become a rare sight to see interaction between classmates. When for example, this class, when our class started in the beginning, people tend to stay on their phone instead of like talking to classmates. We have a lot of problems in our life, 99 problems, but the addiction to your cell phone won't be one of them because we got you on the solution here.
I'll be going over a few solutions to problems that every one of us have during class. All of us together, we walk into class, first thing we do is sit down, we check our phones, make sure we have no texts, and we do that throughout the class, all throughout the class. What we should do to prevent one of these problems is turn off our notifications, just so we have nothing pop up on our screen, so we don't have to constantly check or respond to a message, or go on Snapchat and see if anybody responded. Also, our class, today we all depend on artificial intelligence such as calculators, autocorrect on all of our devices, which is causing us to lose our natural intelligence. So we tend to spell words wrong when we have to write an essay in class, just making sure. What we should do for a solution for this is we should tend to spell everything out, turn autocorrect off on our phones, just to help you in an everyday situation. Everybody in class tends to procrastinate a lot before they start any assignment. They check on the computers, on their phones. A solution for this is start your assignment, take a few breaks throughout the assignment so you know you started it and you also have to finish it as well. There are many health concerns as well. Using phones, they affect your vision a lot because people today they use their cell phones 4 to 5 hours daily minimum, and that causes much eye strains. For a solution for everybody is not to completely cut out phone usage, just to slow down a little bit day by day. According to Ware College professor Arista Wayne, she has done a study according to all the phone usage in students has caused lack of sleep. Her solution for this is to keep her phones away 8 to 10 feet away when you sleep, so you don't have a tendency to look over and check your phone. According to Compara Brady, who's a managing director at Harvard's Boggs Center, 92% of students reported feeling anxiety when they're unable to respond to a message right away. And solution given for this was to turn your phone off and away before class, so you know you have no distractions. This is already a solution which is implemented by pretty much every teacher, but it's not followed by any student. There are also many relationship factors that come into phone usage. Many students, they walk into class, they don't talk to one another, they just talk to their friends that are not in the class. They don't tend to make new friends as they go along in classrooms. Solutions which many people think of since it's college, just take a class with your friends so you don't have to text them all the time. But that's not really a solution because you're going to just talk to your friends either way and not pay attention in class. One second. Now imagine that we have implemented all these phone addiction problems. Luckily, you don't have to imagine that. We've already put them into words for you. Alright.
speaking of notifications, imagine you're sitting in class and you finally get that one notification that you've been waiting for. You look down just for a second, you tell yourself, but it's not going to be just a second. You miss some important notes, then eventually you miss more and more, and you tell yourself, oh, I'll make up for it, I'll study for this and that, but then you don't study for it, and then you mess up on your exams, and your grades don't end up as good as you'd like, then it just rolls on. You don't get into the college you want, you don't get the job you want, and it's all because of that one text that you decided to look at. Well, but now imagine that, like, your life is so much easier. You don't check your notifications, and you're not procrastinating because you're not constantly checking your phone. This will lead to an easier life and success, and even though you may call it the creative process, we all know it's called procrastination, and it will just make your life harder. The place where we get the most distracted by our phones is in school. If you don't pay attention in class, you will not be able to do well, and your teacher's going to yell at you, and it could lead to an embarrassing situation where your teacher's going to be calling you out in front of everybody, maybe even have you read your text like they make you used to read your notes back in like the 4th grade, and nobody wants that. And if you rely on your phone for things such as calculators and autocorrect and everything, then it's not going to help you. Even though you may finish your assignments, it's one of the things that leads you to not retain information as much as you'd like, and leads you to get the worse grades. If a teacher gave you a test where you can't use calculators on math, you don't think you're going to do as well because we're so used to using our phones on things such as those. Now, everybody wants an easier way, but it doesn't help. And according to Sarah Crampton, a science editor and researcher, a study was done in Singapore where half the students in a classroom were allowed to keep their phones and half had their phones taken away. And those who had their phones taken away actually did worse on exams because this study shows that the addiction that people have to their phones, that just having it on them and not having to use it, it still helps you raise your grades because you get anxious when you don't have your phone on you. Now, another area where phone use can affect you is health. Now, imagine you're constantly going to the doctor, you have to sit in a waiting room, and what are you doing in that waiting room? Once again, you're on your phone. But who wants to constantly have to go to the eye doctor year after year after year? If you keep using your phone, that's what's going to happen. Now, nobody wants to be picking at their eye, putting in contacts, or wearing glasses, and even though phones aren't the only factor of this, phones play a big part in your vision, since we are so used to using our phones so close to our face. And the last thing that phones affect is sleep. As Guggen said, sleep, you lose a lot of sleep because your phone's next to you and you feel like using it a lot, but I myself don't get enough sleep because of this, but putting your phone away and like a good night's sleep sounds like a great idea, and it's so close, but your phone is right there and it's yet so far. And now imagine that you get that call from your girlfriend. She's like, yo, I saw you've been liking some chick's pictures. So this could be avoided if you just get off social media for a little while. Even though you may not mean any harm, you may accidentally like a picture, and then like that you get that notification that you don't want. But social media makes it so much easier for you to see things that other people are doing that it can lead to problems that you don't want and potential fights. Oh, wait, what was it? Okay. And now that you've heard the problems, the solutions, and the possible outcomes, it's time to take action.
Well, there are many problems with phones. There can also be many solutions for solving these problems. For example, taking a break every 20 minutes or so is a good way to start fixing yourself. It is known as the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, you stare at something at least 20 feet away from you or more for at least 20 seconds. This will help rest your eyes from your phone screen and will keep you energized and powerful enough to stay awake. Using your phone too much can also ruin your relationship. Many apps require social media, and that can tear people apart. You can stop yourself by doing that by not downloading those apps, and if you do have them, don't use them as much as you want. when you're at school, you can keep your phone in your backpack and not depend on it for all the functions that it has access to. Many people prefer to use their phones for calculators and other things since it's handy, but if you keep it in your backpack, you're able to focus more on the professor and what he's teaching. Some ways to keep your eyes healthy is that keep your phone away from your face at least 1 foot at all times. So, and when you're going to bed, and you can make sure to not keep yourself occupied by putting your phone in a safer place, such as a safe or downstairs at night. But if you use your phone as a alarm clock, you have to remember not to get distracted when you're setting your alarm clock and to focus on going to sleep in order to get ready for tomorrow. You can start all of this by putting your phone down and interacting with the outside world more and talking with more people, since phones also let you do that, but it is better to hear another person's voice without a mechanical device next to your ear. If you believe that this doesn't apply to you, you should, if you don't believe that this doesn't apply to you, you should download several apps that can monitor your time that you spend on your phone. And you can learn the scary truth of how many hours that you rely on your phone per day. The apps are called, Quality Time for Android phones, and the app is called Moment for Apple phones. You should shorten the amount of time you spend on your phone. That way you'll improve your grades, health, and relationships as a student.